Good morning, Seaside. My name is Reverend Lori McMacken, and I'm here to present the announcements to you today. But first of all, I would love to present our beautiful practitioner who will be holding the light, Ellen Rice. Thank you. So this Wednesday is a Wednesday night gathering, and the first and third Wednesday of the month, Reverend Debbie leads the gathering, and the second and fourth, myself, Reverend Lori McMacken, leads the gathering. Is that my name? Anyways, this Wednesday I'll be talking about Mother Earth because it is Earth Day, the Native American teaching of being connected to all your relations, through your mind, body, spirit, and Mother Earth. So I will see you then. We have some education announcements today. April 26th, there is a workshop with Jill Bandowski. She is back with the Improv Comedy Workshop. Next Monday, we have a Healing Creativity class that is from 6 to 8 on the 28th for 4 weeks. It starts on the 27th of April. And practitioner Jenny Mills will be teaching Your Invisible Power beginning next Thursday for 4 weeks from 6 to 8:30. Sign up for all these classes here in the family room and get more information, or you can go online now and register. Complete your registration online. Isn't that cool? Just go to seasidecenter.org and click on education. Also, Seaside is happy to announce that we have welcomed back Seasons Hospice to facilitate a bereavement group beginning a week from Thursday. The group will be open for the first 2 weeks, and then it will become a closed group. The first meeting is April 30th from 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Today at Seaside Business Professionals at 12:30 in the Emerson Room. Heart to Heart is sponsoring a wardrobe collection for 65,000 clients that are emerging from life crisis, and they're developing skills to go into the workforce. So I cleaned out my closet and brought my professional clothes. Women, you know how we are. We love to clean from season to season and get new clothes and do away with the old. So contribute to these beautiful people. On April 22nd, Seaside Sisters has an Earth Day Blessing and Fire Walk. Those sisters are just burning a path here at Seaside. They also have a film screening called The Burden, and on May 26th, Dancing with the Divine, Sufi Dancing with Reverend Lori, that's me, and Brenda McQueen, Mary Brenda. On April 25th, the Interfaith Emergency Preparedness Fair, sponsored by Interfaith Ministerial Association, located at the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, and look at your inside Seaside for more information. I'm not sure, did I talk about the Family Ministry and Encinitas Fair on April 25th? Well, the Youth and Family Ministry, held up by Reverend Lori Sheets, will be presenting a booth at the fair in Encinitas. So make sure you stop by the booth and brag about your community to Encinitas people. So please stand and greet your neighbor.
Seaside, please remain standing for the congregational song. So this is a song that's been a traditional song. I remember singing this one with my mom growing up. So it's a call and response, okay? So I'm going to say the first one, and then you repeat after me, and then we'll say something together halfway. Here we go. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Together we say, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I say, this is the day, you say, together, that the Lord has made. Perfect. Do it again. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice be glad in it. Together we sing. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, you say, we're together, that the Lord has made. Come on, Bob. For Bob and the rest of the fellows. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Together, come on. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made. All right, great job.
All right, that was good. Thank you, Rebecca. Good morning, Seaside. Woo, what a joy it is to be here with you. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. That's the way my dad started all his talks. And so when I ever hear that line, it touches my heart deeply. So thank you for that. Hey, boy, did we have a party on Friday night around here or what? Woo-wee. It was, boy, there were 700 of us here, and it took more than 40 individuals in service to pull that night off with an ease and a grace and just a wonderful success. And any of those that are here that helped make that night possible, would you just please stand so we can say thank you for the wonderful orchestration and support and service that night. It was just a lot of fun. And just the house is filled with the spirits. They didn't all go home yet. I can tell. I see them still watching up there. Yeah, it was truly a wonderful experience for Seaside. At Seaside, wonderful things keep going on, and it's because we put Spirit first always. And so when you come into this home, you can feel the love here. It's a community that cares. We're kind. It's a place without judgment. It's all embracing. All are welcome. Seaside is an open and affirming spiritual community, and your presence here makes a difference for what it is we do and who we are. And so we do put Spirit first, and so this morning we have a wonderful master practitioner, and Kathleen Lees is going to take us a little bit deep. Hey, they lowered the microphone for you on this service.
Planning.
I'm so grateful to have this moment of stillness. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to feel the vibes of that beautiful earthy sound that comes from an element of the same earth that we live on, the same earth that we're a part of, the same earth that we come from and return to. And to know that we are all a one with this planet. Each of our lives is lived on this planet as part of this planet. And each one of us has the opportunity to participate in making it whole as it participates in making each of our lives and our experiences of life whole. So knowing that we will always be able to come to this beautiful sanctuary that we have created for ourselves to come and receive these blessings and to share this teaching and to share our experiences of life, and to always be lovingly reinforced in whatever is happening in our lives, whatever we strive to do. So knowing that this is true for me, knowing that it is true for each of you, I say, so it is.
God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me.
Thank you, Rebecca Jade, for anchoring us in that invocational song, and Lynn Willard for accompanying her, for Kathleen Lees, our practitioner, for anchoring us in prayer. What a great place to start, huh? Anchored in spirit. Good morning, I'm Reverend Tammy Mars. It's my joy to be with you here today, to welcome you, to invite you to sit back, to open your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul. For in this space, and in actually each and every space, is the fullness to overflowing of spirit. And in that is your good. It's your peace, your love, your joy. And so where we are sitting here right now is holy ground, as in every place that we are. And so it's with that consciousness and awareness that we invite it now to come in and flood our entire being and overflow from us out into the world from which we're living. I thank you for being here and being that beautiful instrument of the divine. And if you are brand new, come be sure to go see our welcome table. We have a packet for you. And in that packet is a lot of information about who and what we are, our ministries, all the ways that you can participate. There's some gifts in there for you. So be sure to pick that up and take that home with you. And most importantly, we want to invite you to come back again. Come as much as you can. We love having you here. And I know the light is really good for all of us. So come join us. So today, Reverend Christian is going to be talking about Earth Day, and so we're celebrating Earth Day. And I've chosen a reading from our Native Americans, from the Lakota Indians. So I just invite you to sit back and to open your heart and call in your ancestors and feel the very truth of these ancient Indian traditions. We should know that all things are the work of the Great Spirit. We should know that the Spirit is within all things. The trees, the grasses, the rivers, the mountains, and all the four-legged animals, as well as the people. And even more important, we should understand that Spirit is also above all things. The Lakota was a true naturalist, a lover of nature. These Indians loved the earth and all the things of the earth. The attachment growing with age. The Indian people came literally to love the soil, and they sat or reclined on the ground with a feeling of being close to the mothering power. It was good for the skin to touch the earth, and the old people liked to remove their moccasins and walk with bare feet on this sacred earth. Their teepees were built upon the earth, and their altars were made of earth. And it was the final abiding place of all things that lived and grew. The soil was soothing, strengthening, cleansing, and healing. That is why the old Indians still sit upon the earth instead of propping themselves up and away from the life-giving forces. For them to sit or to lie upon the ground is to be able to think more deeply and to feel more keenly. They can see more clearly into the mysteries of life and come closer in akin to the lives about them. For kinship with all creatures of the earth, sky, and water was a real and active principle. The old Lakota Indians were wise. They knew that man's heart away from nature becomes hard. They knew that lack of respect for growing living things soon led to a lack of respect for all humankind. In the Indian, the spirit of the land is vested. The Indian was akin to all living things, and they gave way to all creatures as equal rights to themselves. Everything on earth was loved and reconvened. And they had this Indian prayer that said, "O giver of life, you glorious one, you instinctively know what needs to be done. I bask in your warmth to gain energy and marvel how you raise up in each plant and tree. I love you, earth, and all of your creatures. There's joy in knowing that you are our teachers. I will treat you with respect and care and know that the world is ever aware. When we honor you, we honor us too. Keeping you balanced will grow our lives anew. Help us to treasure our blessings on earth and the love that has been given to all at birth." So just allow us to take those words within. As we allow them to open our heart, our mind, and our soul. For we know there is one power and one presence, and that power and presence is God. That power and presence is the Great Spirit. That power and presence is the expression of life itself. It is all powerful, all knowing, and everywhere present. It is me. It is you. It is the wisdom that flows through man in great, magnificent ways. It is the learning and the correcting and the exploring and the expanding of the all good. It is right here, right now, guiding and leading each and every move. For God is and I am, and I claim it in my fullness. As I celebrate this beautiful earth that we live upon, all of its blessings, all of its resources, all of its wisdom, and all of its guidance. And so it's with this that I just let go and let God. I trust, I surrender, and know that we never walk alone. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, Seaside. Well, it is my honor. Just kidding. We actually don't have a guest artist today, unfortunately, because of a couple just unprepared incidents that came up. But so I guess I'll be the one today, your guest artist. So this was kind of a last-minute thing, so we're going to do a couple fun songs. Hope you enjoy. I really love the message in this song. It's by she's a pop singer named Mary J. Blige, and she's just got this awesome song that I love, and it's called Just Fine. Hope you like it.
Let it go. Can't let this thing called love get away from you. Feel free right now, go do what you wanna do. Can't let nobody take it away from you, from me, from we. No time for moping around, are you kidding? And no time for negative vibes, cause I'm winning. It's been a long week, I put in my hardest. Gonna live my life, feels so good to get it right. Cause I like what I see when I'm looking at me, when I'm walking past the mirror. No stress in my life, my time in my life. Ain't worried about if you feel it. Got my head on straight, I got my vibe right. I ain't gonna let you kill it. I won't change my life, my life's just when you're doing all the things that you wanna do. Get the best out of life, treat yourself to something new. It's a really good thing to see. I won't change my life's just fine, 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 fine. Fine, 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 fine. Fine, 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 fine. I won't change my life's just fine. I ain't gonna let nothing get in my way, no. No matter what nobody has to say, no. I ain't gonna let nothing get in my way, no. No matter what nobody has to say. Oh, feels so good when you're doing all the things that you wanna do. Get the best out of life, treat yourself to something new. It's a really good thing to see that I won't change my life. My life's just fine, 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 fine. Ooh. Fine, 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 fine. Ooh. Fine, 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 fine. Ooh. I won't change my life. My life's just fine, 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 fine. Ooh. Fine, 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 fine. Ooh. Fine, 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 fine. Ooh. I won't change my life. My life's just fine. Thank you.
Hey, that is Rebecca. Oh, yeah. Woo. Woo. Hey, we're blessed. My goodness. Rebecca called me yesterday afternoon and said, Christian, our singer's canceled out the second one. What do I do? I said, you're always my number one choice. So I'm just so grateful you are here at Seaside. Bless you for the love you bring us. All right. Well, let's see. Today is my Earth Talk message, and I love this Sunday. The reason I love the Earth Day message so much is I am able to seat myself in current information and what's going on upon this planet, and it just reminds me of the possibilities that I have to walk a little bit lighter upon this earth. And I got to assure you, I'm not perfect at this stuff that I'm going to share with you today. I am not an absolute with almost anything, maybe except for spirituality. And so what I share with you is going to be just some ideas, some statistics, and I can't even begin to tell you how much information I got swirling around my head right now. I'm not even clear as to what's going to come out in terms of what you're going to get. But what I want you to know, or I want to assure you, is that I may share some images or statistics that are not the happiest. But the message today is not to leave us heavy. I used to do that in those older days, just leave in here going, yuck. And but I really don't want to do that anymore. I want you to leave here feeling good. I want you to leave here feeling like there is hope, there's possibilities, and there's things that we can do, that there are solutions, because I truly do believe that. And being optimistic is good, but there's some that are sometimes just too over-optimistic. And when I say over-optimistic, what I mean is they're so optimistic that they don't choose to taper their habits. Well, I'll just keep using plastic and throwing away the bottles and burning the fuel and just because everything's going to be fine. Well, yeah, everything's going to be fine, but we got to do something to help it be fine because we've really screwed it up. And so, sorry. So a lot of our Earth Day folks are gone from here, so this is for you guys, just coming from me, because there's things going on this planet that are shocking. I mean, the climate situation, the climate change is significant upon our planet. I mean, a couple weeks ago, the Antarctic recorded their highest temperature in the history of recorded temperatures in the Antarctic. You know, the southern hemisphere is ablaze in the midst of drought and no water down there. I mean, California, oh my goodness, we are having our difficulty with water. Even though Boston, you know, has more snow than we have in the snowpack of the Sierras right now, we are in the midst of an extreme drought. You know, Marv, you got a couple of those pictures? I think there's like 6 reservoirs we have here. Okay, watch them just going down. I mean, this is normal And this is what's going on at that bridge. Check out this one. Look at that. And there's people saying we don't have an issue with water. Seriously, no, there's people say there's really nothing going on here. I mean, never in history has it, in California recorded history, have our reservoirs been that low. I mean, there's just... Another one? Or is that it? Okay. But, and so, I'd like people just to take a look at the information that is out there. I mean, I watch Glacier National Park. We've been hanging out there for a while now. When they first called it Glacier National Park, there were over 150 glaciers. Now there's 24 left, and they say by 2020 all the glaciers are going to be gone from Glacier National Park. Now, I drive sometimes from Yellowstone on up to Glacier through the Rockies there, beautiful green, and the decimation of the trees that are going on. Now, I'm not a climate scientist, but I can tell there's something that's not quite right. And they say, well, it's the bark beetles. Well, the reason the bark beetles are affecting things now is because there is something not quite right in the environment. They used to say, a decade ago, if we ever hit 350 in terms of carbon dioxide and parts of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, we're really in trouble. And we have skyrocketed past that number. There are things that are going on that are scientifically documented that if we choose to take a look at it are indications that there's something that needs to be done. The Seaside Sisters and the Earth Ministry here a couple weeks ago, many of you came to see the film that they showed on plastic. Oh my goodness, for us who love the ocean, which is why we live in this area, it is heartbreaking to see what the plastic is doing in our ocean. Plastic bottles in the U.S. alone, we go through 35 billion plastic bottles a year. And where do you think they end up? Out in the ocean. The plastic bag, the United States alone goes through 1 billion one-time use plastic bags. The world goes through 500 billion plastic bags in the course of the year. And bless Encinitas, we just banned the bag a week ago around here. Is that going to make a huge environmental difference? Well, I'll tell you what, if every community did such a thing, it just might make a difference. But in the meantime, where does plastic, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It doesn't biodegrade. It is supposed to last for a long, long time. So what happens is it goes out into the ocean, and it floats around for years and years as, floating plastic, but then it breaks down into microscopic little beads and creates like an ocean smog. They create these gyres, which you probably saw in this movie, where we have floating 5 of these around the planet. One of them is called the Great North American Garbage Patch right off the California coast that is twice the size of Texas. They say 40% of the ocean is covered with this plastic. Our sea life is being decimated. The seabirds are being decimated. Turtles, 100% of them have plastic in them. The game fish that go on the currents of the ocean have plastic in them. Any of the ones that we have left, because we have just decimated all the fisheries upon the planet, but we can't see it. I can't see it, so there's nothing going wrong. It's under the ocean. We don't know what's going on under there. Well, I'll tell you what's going on is not good news. It's better just to be oblivious to it. If I don't see it, it's not going on. Everything's going to be fine, And so, if we were to see the magnitude of what could be taking place, it's extremely scary. And what tends to happen is we don't allow ourselves to go there because it's such a stark disconnect, a disbelief. And so, interesting story I read in Andrew Harvey's book, wonderful book he wrote. It's called The Hope, Sacred Activism. And really this message this morning, I'm sharing these things, but it's about our connectedness. It's about our interconnectedness. It's about our oneness with this planet. It is about bringing forth spirit in our walk in all that we do, and it happens to be Earth Day, and so we're taking a look at the spirituality and how does it express in our world. And so the story that Andrew Harvey shares is about one of his friends in the south of India, lives by the beach, who had lost his son in the 204 tsunami that wiped out all the beaches back then. He said that he prides himself in being a fisherman. He prides himself in knowing the moods of the ocean. He has seen the ocean with all sorts of different expressions. But there was never anything inside of him that had any registering of what a tsunami is, could do, or its magnitude. And when he was actually sitting there watching this wave, the tsunami come, he said he saw his son playing down by the beach. And he didn't even try to save him because he had no comprehension of what a tsunami could do. And then he just broke down crying in Andrew Harvey's arms. And that's what can happen, is this tsunami of our action that comes back into our life. We won't even recognize it because we are just allowing ourselves to be apathetic in the realization of what is presently taking place on the planet and what is going to cost us down the line. Payback is tough. The piper's going to come asking to be paid before long for the debt that we are putting upon us. Jacques Cousteau in the 60s was telling us it's going to take a long, long time, a century, to clean up the mess we made in the ocean. That was in the 60s. I got to tell you, in the last 10 years, we have created more plastic for this planet than in the whole previous creation of plastic. And where does the majority of it go? Some of it gets recycled, but the majority of it goes back out into the ocean or the landfills. And so as we begin to open our awareness and recognize that, we need to do something. Now, I recognize we got these great thinkers, these think tanks they're telling us not to worry, we're going to be okay, there isn't climate change, don't worry about the reservoirs dropping or the polar ice caps melting. Did you watch Chasing Ice last year? You still can watch it on Netflix. It's a National Geographic. You want to see polar ice caps melting, it's not just a bunch of cute little drowning polar bears. Watch the decimation, not only the shrinking this way, but the size of the Empire State Building shrinking in the depth of it. It's going on. But you've got these think tanks, these brilliant scientific minds telling us not to worry. And who are they sponsored by? That's what we've got to take a look at. Who is paying to have this come out and say there's nothing wrong with our climate? Remember I grew up anyway with the tobacco company coming out. We've done these scientific research, and there is no correlation between tobacco and cancer. Remember that? See, that is what's taking place with a lot of the reports, not all of them, but what you want to be aware of is who is paying for those reports that come out. Because what is happening is there's just a destroying of the environment, and there is a sense of not really being connected to it. I mean, we're blessed. We live on the beach. This is about the best California has. North County of San Diego, I don't think it gets any better. That's right. And environmental standards, out of all the cities in the United States, we're ranked number 3rd with innovation, technology, investment. So we're in good shape. But what's taking place is, we're covering up the mother with the asphalt. She can't breathe. We walk on it. It heats up. You can't get your feet in. We get our feet in the sand, but a lot of people can't get their feet in the sand. They live in closed environments. They actually use air conditioning. We don't even have air conditioning on our houses and cars here because we don't need it. We got fresh air. But there's people who go to offices, buildings, that windows that don't open. They even have cubicles without fresh light. There's no wonder that people feel a disconnect from nature. We need to get back into nature. But I'll tell you what we've done. We've spent the last hundreds of years disconnecting from nature, when what we need to do is connect with nature. And the most connection some people will ever have with nature is their salad that's before them. That's as close as they're going to get to nature. What we need more than ever is to get back in touch so we can walk in rhythm with the planet again, that we can walk in harmony as the ancestors, our ancestors, the indigenous people told us that this Gaia, this Mother Earth, it is a living organism. It knows how to self-regulate, but as we're messing it up, it used to be able to let out the heat when it got too hot inside, and when it got too cold, it was able to hold it together. But as we mess with the ozone and the environment, all of a sudden it's self-regulation at the level of a balanced kind of responsiveness in which humanity or our species can live on the planet isn't happening in the manner in which it could. And yet the media, which has a great social responsibility to give us the full picture. I'm not saying it's this story Christian's telling or this story he's not telling. You want the full spectrum, but the media is controlled by a few corporate giants that keep our minds filled with inane comedy 24/7. They give us half-baked news that is going on. They will throw us violence or pornography or just things to keep our minds so engaged that we are not getting the true story here. And then what we know about the global level is the systems that are working in place to keep the economies are pretty much controlled by the multinational corporations that have their interests that are really outside the scope of law. because how you may be able to prosecute a corporation, but there's not a person accountable. They pay a fine, and that's about it. And this is what is influencing the government decisions or different institutions. And all of a sudden, there is a disproportion of balance that is working in this world that supports greed as opposed to what is highest and best for humanity as a whole to live in harmony. And so, the internet is a wonderful resource that is still, for the most part, unregulated. Whether you go into the deep internet or whether you go on the surface internet, we are still given, it's an essential imperative that we keep that without the regulations. And yes, things can come through that we really wish there were not available there. But look at how we have given away so many of our liberties because of the fear of the terror or the fears that are put on us or the fears of protection. And all of a sudden we begin to give up our rights. We have a right to know what is taking place upon our planet. We have a right to know what is in our food. We have a right to know what is going on in the air. We have a right to know what's going on our poles. We have a right to know what's going on within our ocean. And not in just a half-baked news, but with the truth and the facts that as clearly as we can get them, so we can choose to see what is going on and be optimistic and take the practices that are necessary to walk in alignment and congruent with our soul, with our spirit, and with humanity and those that have gone before us and those that are coming after us. Because I got to tell you, I may not have been this passionate, but I got a kid that's going to be living on this world a lot longer than I am, and I want to make sure that he can still breathe the air and doesn't have to pay buku bucks for a glass of water. Because the water situation is not healthy here. The underground waters of the world are disappearing. The World Bank say the next big wars of our century, later in our century, are going to be over food and water. That's what the issues that are being projected. And so what we have got to do is begin to claim what is our right and begin to be present for it. But what happens is that controlling element, if you would, loves nothing more for this good old American Protestant work ethic where you work, and you're proud of how much you work. You listen to people talk, let me tell you how tired I am. Let me tell you how overworked I am. They're like hyperactive with the work that they start early, stay late, take it home, and they are exhausted. There's like this ADD and the work consciousness of the human race that says work, which leaves one totally exhausted in their ability to reconnect with nature, with spirit, with that life force. You've got to have time, but if you're caught up with the main TV or you're exhausted with the little effort that you have left, you don't have time to meditate and feel that spirit moving in your life. And I believe, as I've shared time and time again, that the answer is going to be from the collective uprising. It's not one person, it's all of us, and the millions, and the hundreds of millions, and the billions of individuals that are seeing the truth of what is going on, not sitting in judgment, pointing fingers, making one wrong and another one right, but saying, this is what I can do to walk a little bit lighter on this world. I now have some current information. I've been sitting in my meditation and feeling what has been going on, it's not working. So I got to do something else. Now, there's a wonderful tribal wisdom from Lakota, the same nation that Reverend Tammy was reading from. And there's this tribal wisdom about if you're riding a horse and your horse is dead, you get off, right? You got a dead horse, the best thing you can do is dismount it and get off. You don't, pray for its resurrection. You don't go to a psychiatrist or a counselor to figure out, what it was that will help this horse rise again. You don't talk the story again with your friends. You don't try to whip that horse or to make excuses that is just not, forget it. You get what I'm saying. You get it. But that's what we tend to do. Well, give me another bottle of plastic water and I will, have a drink and think about this a little bit more. I've got to learn to do something different here. Life is calling for me to be a different kind of expression. And so as we come to the edge of crisis, as we spoke a little bit this month, particularly Barbara Marks Hubbard, crisis is a birth. We're at a crisis. And so we got to this point that humanity hasn't been to before, and it is the birth of a light and a greater possibility, a new way of being, a new way of walking upon this earth that allows us to walk lighter. What is it that I can do in my life? And there's little things you can do. You're not taking plastic bags anymore because it's finally been mandated. So now you got to take your canvas bag. It's not killing you. It may bug you for a little while, but I'll assure you over time you get over it. It makes a difference. You go to Starbucks, you bring your own mug. You don't take a paper cup with another plastic lid that you're going to have to throw out. People actually, this is a good one, they bring their knives and forks. They put in their purse, their backpack, their car. They go to picnics. They won't use another piece of plastic. There's things you can do. Incandescent light bulbs. They're done. I mean, that era is over. There's different ways to be as you walk in this world. The options with the automotive industry are better than ever. With the look at our town. How many Teslas you see? I can't imagine there's that many people driving Teslas in our town. They're all over the place. Or the Leaf. I mean, there's options. As we were buying Callie's Prius this year, I said, boy, this is gosh, all the research and stuff you put in electric, this is great, because that got killed a few years back. We all saw that documentary. And they said, well, you know what? We're not putting the money into the electric anymore. Toyota, who came out with the Prius, said we're now putting our research money in hydrofuel. Hydrofuel, what's that? Yeah, it said water. The hydrogen atoms in the water is what is going to be fueling the cars in the future. You just fill up your car with your garden hose. There are good things that are going on because we have reached a place of crisis that moves the collective consciousness, and you got people that are in fear and going, which is sometimes what it takes to wake us up, because when the alarm is going off, which is going off now, what a lot of people do, go back to sleep. They just hit the snooze alarm. It's like, I don't want to have to deal with that. But Gaia saying, hey, pay attention, guys. I don't want to have to do something drastic to bring myself back into balance. And so what I want us to get is there's a lot of good going on. There's a guy by the name of Paul Hawkins. He wrote a book called Blessed Unrest. He had this concern that all of us have about our planet and what's going on. Is there really good going on, or is it all this negative stuff? He said, I just want to see if I can document some of the groups that are kind of like a grassroots movement that really doesn't have big organization behind it, not funding from some corporate place, but like kind of grassroots, like our Season for Nonviolence, that, we kind of helped start here, and now it's in, 50 nations, all of our governors. That's a grassroots movement. He wanted to find that dealt with, let's say, women's rights, or gay rights, or animal rights, or human rights, or ecological balance and rights, and whether it deals with water and indigenous people, just what kind of groups are out there. And you've probably seen his scrolling on the internet or at some conference. He lists them, and they scroll them, and there's now between 1 and 2 million different organizations around this globe that is grassroots movement that is working on beginning to bring a more conscious endeavor to walking in balance and harmony upon this world, whether it has to do with individual rights or planetary rights or the environment. And so this is something that Paul Hawkins wrote from his book. It says about these groups, they claim no special powers, and they arise in small, discrete ways, like blades of grass after the rain. The movement grows and spreads in every city, in every country, and involves virtually every tribe, culture, language, and religion, from the Mongolians to the Uzbeks. It is composed of families in India, students in Australia, farmers in France, landless in Brazil, and the banderas of Honduras, the poor of Durban, villagers in Iran, the indigenous tribes of Bolivia, and the housewives in Japan. Its leaders are farmers, zoologists, shoemakers, and poets. And then Paul Hawkins describes this movement as having a fundamental, interconnected branches, one for social justice issues, one for environmental activism, and one of the fight for the indigenous people against the corporate dominance. That's what's taken place. I want us to know there is something going on that is emerging out of the collective consciousness that doesn't just have some overarching control to it. There's something that hungers in our soul, in the collective soul of humanity, that wants to get back into that place, and it is coming through. And we've got to continue when we see these horror stories that wake us up with the alarm clock, say, what can I do here? I've got to also rest assured that there is a foundation of hope, of the sacred activism that Andrew Harvey talks about. There is a sacred, there's something powerfully good, the spiritual activism that is taking place that says there is this interconnectedness. If I believe in the oneness of all things, if I believe in the oneness of spirit, then that is true with the planet in which we live. Our ancestors knew it. That's why we keep going to the indigenous cultures. Say, hey guys, what'd you know before the internet? What is it? And what is it happening right now that I find very exciting? Is that there is this mystical renaissance taking place. We have now available to us, thanks to the internet and into the print, an offering of mystical literature that had never been available outside the mystery schools or the higher echelons of spiritual organizations. And so if you don't want the blood-soaked, ecstatic expression of the Christian mystics, you could have some of the more lucid, solemn expression of the Buddhist thinking, that is clarity and quiet. But you want a little bit more fire, you go to the fiery waters of the Hindu philosophy and their gods and their passion, and they're connected at that deep mystical level. If you just want the straight analytics of Confucianism, you can have that, or the Taoists have a great way that is just oneness with nature, or the Kabbalah. You can read about the indigenous shamans that they have a sense and a reverence for this world in which we walk and the practices to bring it about. If you don't want to go the religious route, you can go through physical practices. You can go do the yoga. You could do the Reiki. You could go do Sufi dancing with Laurie Mack on Friday nights here at Seaside. You know, you've got the Sufi, the high aspect of the Islam faith. You know, we are as I guess it is the Islam, the sons of heaven, or Judaism, or the sons of man. You know, it is a truth that seems to weave itself through those great religions and those great places. But we've got to be willing to be open to that. And when we are taken to our knees, you know, in our lives, we have a dark night of the soul where there is a pain that is so deep we don't know what to do with it. The only patience, you can't think yourself out of it. You can't force yourself out of it. You have to be available to the presence of God. Well, collectively, as a human species or a race, maybe our planet is going through that dark night of the soul where we are in this deep place where there is that exploiting and taking advantage of this Mother Earth, thinking that it is ours to pillage and to rape and to take what we want from it. And rather than being in that place where it's about balance, honoring and trusting. And as we are willing to look at it, you know, Nietzsche said, as you look long into the abyss looks back at you. And when you look too long at the negative and the dark night, there's sometimes a sense that you want to cease to live, is how he puts it, Andrew Harvey says. You cease to want to live. And sometimes when our world is that bleak, we come to that place. Which is why it's important to hear the stories that things are turning around. Things are awakening. There are pockets where things are going better. And there's places that need our work. What is it? How can I step away from the consumerism that the media pumps into us? How can I begin to move away from the apathy of disbelief where I can see a tidal wave coming and not even see it? The tsunami that's coming and not even recognize what it is because I have been apathetic in my willingness to see where this could lead if the path doesn't get shifted. But I'm going to choose to focus and find the time to connect with that spirit within and to hear what it is mine to do. I'm going to begin to see things that are working in this world that are a blessing. You know, one of the exciting fields that has come out of this crisis, the birth of something new, is biomimicry. You're familiar with biomimicry? You basically take a look at nature, who has spent millions of years in its R&D, its research and development on how to do things. You know, it's got it there. You know, you're looking for waterproofing. What recently has been put out in the internet for crowdsourcing is an egg. It said, here's one of the best waterproof systems. It's very light. It's biodegradable. How can we make things impermeable, you know, like the egg? What we have done with biomimicry is we have taken the shape of a Fisher King bird's beak and shaped the bullet train to be like that. What we have done is we have taken the inner chambers of the Nautilus shell and turned them into the turbines that we are now using. What they have been doing with high rises, they have studied termite hills and figured out how to create natural cooling expressions that are there. There are wonderful things that are going on, and California is leading our nation out of the 50 states with the innovation, with the research, and with its expenditure. It's number 2 in expenditures, but it's doing really good. And San Diego, on the overall scheme of things, is number 3 behind San Francisco, San Jose, and San Diego. We are in a good place. There are good things that are going on, but it doesn't mean that we can stop. What I really would like to see us do this week, because this week is Earth Day. I trust there's a couple spots left for the Seaside Sisters Earth Day celebration around the bonfire on Wednesday night, but is to find ways in which your life can be shifted just a little bit so you can walk a little bit lighter on this earth. I want you to find some time to just meditate and open your heart and feel that interconnectedness of spirit, of life, of it all, and recognize that this planet is not something just to take from, but what is it that I can do to live here in balance and leave it better than when I found it? Do I really need to use things at the level in which I have used them in the past? Can I move to a place of greater awareness in my life? Can I be the place? What is also happening along with the mystical renaissance, there is a greater birthing of the feminine principle upon our world. That principle that is able to see the interconnectedness, that allows the creativity, and in business world is emerging and is more about cooperation and creativity rather than dominance and competition. There is a birthing of understanding and a reaching out. There is a kinder way of being, and it is honoring the patriarch, but not the patriarchal way of the dominance and the exploitation, but rather it is that sense of harmony. It is a sense of walking with a sense of love and caring and kindness and understanding and seeing what the actions you put out there will do for generations to come. And so on this Earth Day, my request to you is to take some time and to search around and see what are some areas in which I can cut back on plastic, maybe cut back on the energy. What can I do to be more educated in sharing the possibilities that are available that can be done in our individual life and maybe with your friends in your world? And because of you, this world in which I walk will be a far better place. God bless you as you do that. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Rebecca Jade back to our stage.
Powerful message as always, Reverend Christian. Thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to do this song, and it really ties in as I heard your message. And it's a song that I have been singing since I was a little girl, and it just has a wonderful message. I hope you enjoy. There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. It's a long road if you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and the emptiness you felt will disappear. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. And I know that dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone tear them away. Oh, just hold on. There will be tomorrow. In time, you'll find a way. Oh, then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. And when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. That a hero lies in you. How that hero lies in you.
That is Rebecca Jane.
Thank you.
We are blessed. Oh my goodness, with you. Wow. Okay. Well, let's see. This is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to unite together in our givingness and the sharing of our love and our support. And as we continue to feel our connection with the infinite, we come to realize that that infinite expresses through our life at the level in which we choose to express. We are the activity that the divine is having. And so as you give, it comes back. It's not why you give. It's an extension of who you are. It's a declaration of your consciousness through your actions. And so I invite you to listen to your heart and say yes to that and allow yourself to be a place in which that spirit flows. And with that, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward at this time. And I want to say thank you to this wonderful group, and thank you to those that mail in your contributions when you cannot be here on a Sunday. It's greatly appreciated, as well as those that remember us with their auto tithe, that regular systematic support from your world into Seaside. That consistency and regularity is very helpful in our ongoing responsibilities here. And so I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing truly that the blessings of the divine has its expression in this moment in ever-increasing kinds of ways. For each of us becomes that wonderful place through which that infinite touches down, where the heaven passes into form. And it passes into form at the level in which we move forward with a grace and an ease and a joy and a love. And so with a sense of well-being we give, and with a sense of well-being we receive, for it is truly just part of the same cycle of life. So with a sense of joy, we take that which has graced our life and we send it forth, knowing it brings that grace and blessings to all those it comes in contact. So it is. Amen. Together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Those are the guys from Seaside. Woo, and as I stand before this bounty of abundance, I feel the flow that is moving through each and every one of us. For that ever-increasing good graces our individual lives, bringing the richness in ways that are just so right and relevant. For we stand as that wonderful conduit of that abundant flow. And I know right now that this gift has been given in love and is received in joy. It is handled in good stewardship, and it is put forth back into the flow of life, doing good works for everyone it comes in contact. I say thank you, Father, Mother God, for this opportunity to pause and to recognize the abundant, infinite, and exhaustible flow that is there for all. And so it is. Amen. All right. And this is Edwin Robinson. He is one of your board members here at Seaside. Rebecca, Jade, you are so wonderful. Way to just be so graceful in your multi-counting. Reverend Tammy, always a joy to share Sunday mornings with you. Giving us sound today is Ed. Giving us the visual is Marv. Nice job there, Marv. Know their CD is available right after the service. And Tim Griffin, live streaming this for the world to see. We love you there. We thank you for your support. And know that you're an important part of Seaside. And flowers, they're gorgeous. Nancy and Bill Mills, they are just given to all of us in honor of spring. May flowers blossom in all of our lives, and may our spring be filled with fun and feistiness. So thank you for reminding us of that. So also, you know, I saw bookstore. We just changed up a little bit in there. We're going more heavily towards the gifts, and we recognize that most of the books you can still get on Amazon. So anybody uses Amazon, I don't really want to pitch Amazon, but I guess anyway. we get credit. If you hook us up, it's on your bookmark, put us Seaside down, and they'll deliver the books to your door the next day. So with that, the banners, I guess on the week from next Sunday, we're going to have a reception and make those available to the congregation. So there's a lot of good going on at Seaside. Classes are beginning, but what I want to do is hear from our kids. Anybody want to share anything with us? Hey! Hey, Sydney!
Stand up, sweetie.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want it. We learned about going with the flow, and if plan A doesn't work, you have to go with plan B.
There we go. How wise is that? Very nice, and I like it. I like it. So, okay. Well, what I want to do is pray. I want to invite any of our religious science practitioners that are present to stand, and invite all of us to just feel that presence, that vibrancy, that sense of connectedness. For it's that interconnectedness with all things that allows us to become more conscious in our merging with the infinite. For in that mystical place, there is only one. Many aspects and expressions of that one. But the true source of our being, that first cause, first essence, first breath, is Spirit. That's what I am. That's what you are. That's what I speak from. I am Spirit, expressing in this moment with all of us, knowing the blessings of this day is grace. That Spirit has its way in our individual lives. And so rather than battling through life and taking our stance, we allow ourselves to be uplifted by that surge, that wellspring of life itself. As Spirit moves through, there's a dance, there's a fluidity, there is a flexibility, there's a clarity, there's a deep knowing, there's a healing, there's an affluent expression, there is a sense of fulfillment, there is just a lightness as you walk this world and become that emanation of Spirit itself, bringing a light and a deep knowingness and a sense of well-being. And so I know for each and every one of us that this deep sense of conviction is able to move one out of any area of apathy that is no longer serving. That there is a courageous conviction and courage that allows each and every one of us to act in a passionate way in those areas that enthuse our spirit. And I know right now there is a wisdom that supports you in your walk in this world. There is revelation and insight that brings with it healing and transformation. For this body of ours is a temple of God, and it houses our spirit, or at least part of our spirit, in a dimensional frequency as we walk this world here with an awareness of knowing that we are more than what is in form. And this part, this deep knowing, is what transforms. Grateful to know every prayer in our prayer request chest is answered. Thankful that Seaside continues to grow and thrive and be a prosperous expression of the light and the love and the remembrance of heaven on earth. That every member of our community is blessed with a richness that comes from a conscious connection with Source, a deep comfort of well-being and security and peace. For healing is the natural outpouring of that kind of knowingness. So grateful to know our life is in our hands, which is God's hands, that all is well now. That I let go, and I trust, and I believe, and I surrender my way to Spirit's way, knowing in the divine right action here and now for each and every one of us. And so it is.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. Come on. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Seaside, sing it from your heart. Oh yeah, the sun said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I walk lightly upon the earth. Let's say that together. I walk lightly upon that earth. Feel your heart and yourself lift as you walk. I walk lightly upon the earth. One more time. I walk lightly upon the earth. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living